Hi, yogis. Welcome to Sunday Sutras. This is where we convene every week to talk about the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali and how to practically apply this wisdom of yoga into our daily life. I'm Kelsey Delane, your yoga mentor. I coach yogis and yoga teachers into infusing the philosophy of yoga into your daily life and your teaching. So welcome. Today we're talking about 10 free ways to practice real self-care for the busy yogi. I know I could always use a reminder when it comes to this, and I hope that you can too. I know that many of you watch this video on replay, and I'm so grateful that that's what this live platform provides. So I'll dive right into the content and we can cover all of it in about 30 minutes. So first and foremost, when talking about self-care, I want to clarify what self-care is not. Self-care is not self-indulgence. So there is in my opinion, a big misunderstanding when we talk about this word self-care because it's such a buzzword right now. And I'm glad that it's something that we're talking about. However, I think it's really important that we provide some clarity. That's what yoga is really about. Yoga is about cultivating discernment, which is viveka. Viveka is discernment. And so we can start to distinguish between what is truly nurturing us and what is disguising itself as self-care. So a lot of times we hear and see things about self-care that are just like total indulgences, like, yeah, self-care, eat that tub of ice cream. Yeah, take a bubble bath and get a massage and get your nails done, all that stuff, which can be self-care, but it can also be self-indulgence. So I want to distinguish between those things. And I also want to affirm that self-care doesn't require money and it doesn't even require time. We already have habits. We already have ways that we spend our time throughout the day. And self-care is really a choice to approach the way that we move through the day in ways that are uplifting and nourishing, because yoga is a practice of infusing more prana. Prana is positive energy. It's the vital life force that moves through us. It's that which animates this machine of our body. So if yoga is about increasing prana, then that's what we're talking about with self-care. How can we infuse our being, our physical being, our spiritual selves, our emotional selves, our mental body? How can we infuse prana into all layers of ourselves? And in doing so, better nourish ourselves and show up for the world more authentically. So this is really top of mind for me right now because I have a lot of passions. I have a lot going on, and there's a lot of energy output in my life as a yoga teacher, as a mother, as a friend, as a wife, as a business owner. So my practice is about really setting aside time to evaluate what is my energy output, how am I nourishing my body, and how am I holding on to my own prana that I infuse into my being through my practices. One of my favorite definitions of a yogi is someone who can house all of their prana. So if you envision yourself being surrounded by a bubble, and it's a permeable bubble, so prana can move out and in through this bubble. If we have holes in our bubble, we're a leaky vessel, as my teacher calls it. And so if you're leaking prana, you're leaking energy as you move through your day, you're going to be depleted. So as you sign on, answer this question on a scale of 1 to 10. Type in your number in the comment section. On a scale of 1 to 10, how nourished are you? 10 being you are filled with prana, you are so nourished, you have lots of energy and vitality, and a 1 being that you're depleted, that you are lacking prana and lacking a sense of vitality, feeling fatigue and tired. So lately, I personally have been moving through the world probably at about a 5, because I feel really filled up by what I do. I feel so nourished by my passions. I love engaging with my students. I love teaching yoga. I love learning and discussing and sharing and engaging with others. It fills me with prana. However, sometimes I'm so focused on the things that excite me that I skip meals, or I pass up an opportunity to rest, or I stay up later than I intended because I'm working on a project, and it caught up with me. So part of the motivation in talking about this today is because I really needed to be reminded of practical ways to nourish myself that doesn't require time and it doesn't require money. So genuinely, there's no excuse. And if I'm not taking good care of myself, then I am operating from the belief that I'm not really worthy of my own time and attention. And I know that that is not true. So I'm going to use my yoga practice. I'm going to use my cultivation of discernment, of viveka, to identify where I have taken missteps and how I can reevaluate my approach. And I hope that you join me in that. Hi, Yuki. Hi, Nicole. As you hop on, ladies, please share on a scale of 1 to 10 how nourished you feel. And that's your whole being, your body, your mind, your emotional state. 10 being you're super nourished, you're full of energy. 1 being you feel depleted and you're low energy. So please share that in the comments below. And also, as you hop on, I'd love for people to be able to watch live. So share this video on your page, or share it in the Sutras Sangha Facebook group so that others can join us while we chat. Let's dive right into the strategies, because yoga is about solution. Yoga is about solution. And so we are going to unpack 10 free ways that you can truly nourish yourself, because yoga or self-care is not about self-indulgence. It's about building prana through your practices. So number 1 is say no. This is a good one. This is a sometimes challenging one. The ability to set and maintain boundaries is the recognition that you are not responsible for anyone else's thoughts, feelings, opinions of you, and you're not responsible for taking care of another person. You are responsible first and foremost to taking care of your own person, your physical needs, your emotional needs, your mental needs. And only then, yogis, only when you are operating from a filled cup can you be of service or give from your overflowing prana to others. And so saying no is a practical practice of honoring that belief, honoring that knowing that your first priority is to take care of yourself. And that requires saying no sometimes to the requests or the needs of others in order to really nourish yourself. Because this practice of yoga, honestly, it's a self-centered practice. And we have beef with that these days. Self-centeredness sounds ugly, but I am here to tell you that I see it differently. And yoga is about opening our mind to a new way of seeing, a new way of being. Praktipaksha bhavana means if you're experiencing suffering, perhaps look at the situation differently. So what if self-centeredness was the best gift that you could give the world? Because from an honest, humble place, you are fulfilling your responsibility to tend to your needs so that you can show up in the world as your best self. So I'm of the belief, I'm in the school of thought, that self-centeredness is actually a beautiful gift that you can give to the world. Especially my mamas out there, you can't give from an empty cup. So when you say no to expectations that other people might have, or even to opportunities, that's a big one for me right now. I get so filled up by new experiences and opportunities to share yoga. I have to practice yoga in having the discernment to identify when is the right time for these opportunities and what can I say no to in order to be fully present, wholehearted in the things that I do commit myself to. So number one is say no. Number two, ask for help. So just as we are not responsible for other people's ability to manage their emotions and their feelings and their life, other people are also not responsible for us taking care of ourselves, and other people don't read minds. So it's our responsibility if we have a need and it's a need that someone else can help us with or contribute to or even do for us, then part of taking care of ourselves is being willing to ask for help and also to accept the answer no, right? Because just like we are practicing saying no, we need to practice receiving no as an answer. And that doesn't mean it was wrong to ask for help. It just means that for that person in that time, it's not the appropriate give of their energy or their prana to help. And so you find another source. So ask for help. For me, lately, that's been a lot from my husband, asking help from my husband when it comes to meals and grocery shopping. It's been asking for help from my own daughter in terms of keeping the house and taking care of the dog. Asking for help from my coworkers when I need support at work. Asking for help from my students when I need to adjust our schedule. So being willing to ask for that help is truly brave. And the more that we do this, the more that we choose to be confident enough to ask for help, then the more that we're setting a precedent for other people to be able to ask for help as well. And then when someone responds to our request with a no, and we honor that graciously, then we're creating a system, an expectation where it's okay to ask and it's okay to decline. And that provides this really beautiful balance and respect of each other's boundaries. And it provides the opportunity for each of us as grown adults to be taking really good care of ourselves and contributing when it's appropriate, but not when it depletes us. So number two is ask for help. Number three, wake up 15 minutes earlier. So if you have more time in the morning, then you are starting your day in a different pace. We, as yogis, aim to live a lifestyle that is a sattvic state. Sattva is the balance between energy, aliveness, and relaxation and calm. It's the pace of nature. So when we, or I, wake up right when I need to wake up in order to be on time where I need to be, there's a little bit of a sense of urgency. Sometimes I'm rushing Thea to get ready for school, making sure that I don't forget things. Sometimes I do forget things because my mind is really preoccupied with getting out the door. Sometimes that means I skip food or I don't bring the best snacks with me to the studio to teach, and then I'm undernourished. And so when I give myself an extra 15 minutes, the reality is that extra 15 minutes of sleep, I'm not going to feel that lack of that 15 minutes of sleep as much as I'll feel the benefits of a morning that is sattvic and a morning that provides me ample time to prepare food for the day or have a breakfast that's nourishing or perhaps even take a breather. So whatever time you wake up, I suggest if you are feeling depleted, it might seem backwards, but if you're feeling depleted, wake up 15 minutes before you typically do and see what that extra 15 minutes gives to you. See how it changes the tone of the morning, because the way that we start the day truly sets a rhythm in place for the rest of the day. I know that's the case for me. I've seen it across the board with my students. And so I hope that you try that one on and then let me know how it feels. So number 3 is wake up 15 minutes earlier. Number 4, get outside. I know this is a lot easier for us Californians, Southern Californians especially. The sun is almost always shining. And that not only the physical absorption of vitamin D that you get if the sun is out, but the fresh air and the sounds of the birds, or perhaps even just the opportunity to look around, to look at the sky, to look at the trees, to feel your connectedness to the bigger picture, the world at large. To just be outside is such a nourishing thing for me. I know for sure I've started taking more walks outside or moving my work outside. So rather than, taking care of emails or work on the computer from inside the house, I'll take it outside. So I know this can be tricky depending on where you live, but most of us live in places where we can most of the year make this possible. And if not, if it's colder where you live or the weather's different, bundle up and make it happen anyway. So try that on. Get outside at least 15 minutes a day. So take whatever tasks that you already are doing and take them outside. So this doesn't have to be an additional to-do on your to-do list. Just take something you're already doing and move it outside. With that, number 5 is increase your water intake. So my teacher, Katie, posted on Instagram the other day, you're basically a plant. You're basically a plant. You need sunshine and you need water. And that is the case. We need to hydrate our bodies. And it might sound like such a silly little thing, but that's what self-care is. Self-care is knowing that you as a physical body, as a heart, as a mind, as a spirit, have basic needs. And if those are neglected, it serves no one. You are not too busy to drink more water. Whatever tools or practices or strategies help you to make that happen. For me, it's having a cute and an efficient water bottle. So I like having a water bottle that I like. So I have a water bottle that I like. It's my Swell bottle. It's pink and it's cute. And that helps me want to keep track of it so I don't lose it, because I have a tendency to lose my water bottles. And it keeps my water cool or warm. So if I'm drinking tea to get more water in, if it's cooler months and I want to warm my body, I'm pretty Vata, so I run cold anyway. So I like to drink warm tea or hot tea, and that will keep my water warm or hot for a long time. It also keeps my water cold when I'm taking hot yoga, and I want my water to be a little bit cooler. So whatever works for you, have water with you. That is such a key. I know some people like to use the gallons and they mark with a Sharpie different times throughout the day. So they're giving themselves checkpoints of how much water they've consumed, because sometimes it's hard to know. We think we're drinking enough water, but I guarantee however much water you're drinking, you can drink more. That's my philosophy, is I can always drink more water. So this is especially helpful outside of meals, right? So yeah, when you sit down with a meal, sometimes it's natural to drink water, but the truth is that water you consume while you're eating food can dilute your digestive juices. So that acidity that helps your body break down food is really helpful. And when we consume a lot of water while we're eating, it can dilute those juices. And so my goal is always to drink a lot of water outside of my meals. So especially while I'm teaching, if you're a yoga teacher, I consume a full 20-ounce water bottle every time I teach class during class. And I also drink a full 20 ounces before and after class. So basically for every class I'm teaching, I'm drinking 2 20-ounce or so water bottles. And that's a really good practice for me. So find some measurable strategies. How are you going to carry water with you? How much water is in that container? When are there going to be checkpoints throughout the day to see where you're doing in your water consumption? And how can you maximize the water consumption outside of your meal times? So you're a plant, get outside and drink more water. I feel like I'm going to sneeze. So if I do all of a sudden, give me a second. All right. Number 7. Are we on number 7? I think we're on number 7. No, we're on number 6. Stretch your spine. If any of you have a dog like me, you'll notice that every single day your dog stretches their spine and they move it in all kinds of ways. And we also have a spine, and every animal that has a spine needs to move their spine every day in all directions. So our spine extends. We can back bend. Our spine flexes. We can fold forward. We can flex to the side. We can twist our spine in both directions, and we can invert. We can go upside down. So if that's the movement that you get in a day, then you're pretty solid. Stretch your spine in all directions every single day. So easy. Right when you wake up in the morning, before you go to bed at night, in the middle of your workday, if you work at a computer, stand up, stretch your spine in all directions, and then get back to work. It helps your circulation flow because you're moving your body. It also helps create space for your breath. When we stretch our spine, not only do we help to decompress the space between each vertebra where our discs are, so we help decompress the discs, but also we're creating space through the torso, and that's where we breathe. We need space in the belly, on the side body, in the rib cage, the front side, the sides, the back. So that space that stretching our spine provides allows us to truly breathe in ways that sustain us and nourish us and calm the nervous system. So when, especially those of us who spend a lot of time seated, sitting at a desk, on screen, driving in a car, what have you, our tendency is to let the shoulders slump forward, the chest to melt forward a bit, and to minimize the length and the space in the spine, which then makes the breath more short and shallow. So when you make a point to move the spine in all directions, you're more likely to maximize your breath capacity. So every day, stretch your spine. Number 7, celebrate your wins. How often do you go around and just like praise yourself? Good job, self. You woke up today and went to work and gave it your all, right? For me, it's like, good job, Kelsey. You're committed to showing up live every Sunday to serve your students regardless. It takes courage to do this. It takes courage to be physically seen. It takes courage to use my voice and to share my thoughts and feelings in a vulnerable way. So good job, Kelsey. So give yourself a second, just celebrate, recognize, like, what did you do today that is worth celebrating? And please, 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 it doesn't have to be some big ta-da thing. It could be like, you did your best today and I'm proud of you. That's it. There is something that you've accomplished today that is worth celebrating. And if you can't find something, then that's where your work lies. Yeah. All right. Number 8, get silly. So sing, dance, play, laugh, have fun, get silly, put on your favorite song, the song that you and your girlfriends would blast in the car, driving to the beach with the windows down and singing your hearts out. put on music that just makes your body want to move, or for crying out loud, watch some stand-up comedy, or spend time with a friend of yours that makes you feel lighthearted. Go try something brand new and be willing to laugh at yourself. Play, explore, let that lightness into life so that everything isn't so serious and about responsibility and purpose. It's like, do things just to do things. Like, dance just because. Have you ever spent much time with an 8-year-old? I live with an 8-year-old daughter right now, and everything is just about fun. It's about singing and dancing and playing and twirling and, ooh, what does it feel like when I move my body like this? Or I just caught my reflection, so I'm going to play with my hair. I mean, it's just so hilarious how comfortable my daughter is in this stage of her life with just playing and laughing and exploring and making videos of herself and being entertained with her own body and her own voice. And I really believe that there is something wise about that. There is something wise about giving yourself permission to play. You know, if you do practice yoga in a physical capacity on a daily basis, then when you're on your mat, play on your mat, explore, let it be loose, not so rigid. Get upside down if that makes you feel playful. Go to a park and swing on the swings. There is nothing that makes me feel more playful than swinging and jumping off of the swing and seeing how far I can land, just because. Make things a game. And if you have a hard time doing that, get around some kids, because they will help you, I promise. Number 9, every day, take 10 deep breaths. So easy, so simple. And you know what? If you think you don't have time for this, then you need to check your beliefs about how important you are in your own life. We all have time for 10 deep breaths. And you know what my trick is? TMI. When you're on the toilet, take 10 deep breaths. There you go. It's your daily reminder to breathe. I guarantee you're on the toilet once a day. So every time you're on the toilet, give yourself 10 deep breaths. Not rigid, just breathe. Breathe in a way that is expansive and full. And just notice how that feels. We can move through our day unconsciously. Yoga is about making the unconscious conscious. So because our breath is this beautiful mechanism that is simultaneously involuntary and voluntary. So we can breathe all day long without thinking about it, or we can turn our attention to our breath and we can breathe in ways that are purposeful and uplifting. So you don't have to get to your yoga mat to breathe purposefully. And it's easy to subconsciously sink into short, shallow breaths into the chest. But every day, or every time now that you're sitting on the toilet, I want you to think about your breath, and I want you to sit up tall and breathe deep into your belly, 10 nice breaths, and give yourself that gift of prana, because this is all about building prana, and breath is prana. So we're using the breath to infuse not only the body, but the heart and the mind with prana, with energy, with vitality. All right, number 10, smile at a stranger. This is multifaceted. Number 1, when you smile, your brain is given the signal to release positive emotion, neurotransmitters that you experience as positive emotions. So our brain body connection, our mind body connection is so interwoven. One influences the other. The body can affect the mind can affect the body. So knowing that, sometimes we work in the mind to create transformation in the body, and then other times we work in the body to create transformation in the mind. So you can do yourself a favor simply by smiling at a stranger, because you'll experience those positive chemicals in your body from the act of smiling, and the other person will experience, hopefully they'll smile back. Most likely they will, even if they think that you're a weirdo. Most likely they'll smile back. And so now they're experiencing these bright emotions. And prana builds prana. So your choice to smile at this stranger. Hopefully then they smile back. Now you have created prana out of thin air. You've just cultivated prana between you and a stranger when you could have passed that opportunity and just minded your own business, but instead you made the choice to build prana, and prana builds prana. So now you got prana, the other person got prana, and this is what the author of the book I love called Love 2.0, Barbara Fredrickson, she calls that moment love. She calls that moment of connection between two people, that as brief as it might be, she calls that love. And all of her research indicates that love is the most essential nutrient that every cell of your body craves. So if that's not reason to smile at a stranger and be willing to even look silly if you live in a community where that's not very common, make it common. Change the culture of your community. If people don't smile at each other, be the one who starts it. Start smiling at people. My husband is so great at this. I mean, he engages with every single stranger. He makes eye contact. He smiles. He uses their name if they're wearing like a name badge, if they're, working, or the clerk at the grocery store or whatever. And it's really amazing to watch him create opportunities for connection, for positivity, for this love exchange between him and total strangers. And I can see from an outsider that he has built prana for himself and the other person. It's really a beautiful thing. It costs nothing and it takes no time at all. So there you have it. Number 1, free actual self-care, say no. Number 2, ask for help. Number 3, wake up 15 minutes earlier than you normally do. Number 4, get outside. Number 5, drink more water. Number 6, stretch your spine. Number 7, celebrate your wins. Number 8, get silly. Sing, dance, play. Number 9, take 10 deep breaths. And number 10, smile at a stranger. I hope that this starts your day or whatever time you're watching this video. I hope that this infuses prana. Congratulations, celebrate right now that you watched this video, because that is an act of self-care. If you want a guided breath meditation, perhaps you feel like you're more inclined to do your daily breathing if you have it guided, on my website, kelseydelanyoga.com, you can download a free audio meditation that's 5 minutes of grounding breath work. So check that out if you want some support. Otherwise, please feel free to share comments, suggestions, feedback. Is this helpful? How have you used it? What do you want to see more of? Like this video, share it with your friends. And yogis, I will see you next Sunday at 11 a.m. Pacific time. Much love. See you soon.